Hello everyone, and welcome back to the RobeTheMatoran channel, and today we're reviewing the highly anticipated Toa Mahri. In today's video we're going to see if they're worth the hype. Are they worth coming back to pick up? Let's get started. After the Toa Naru defeated Vizon and the Zyglak, the Mask of Light fell into the sea. A huge wave of light erupted from the mask and illuminated all of the pit. The light's energy transformed the Toa Naru into water-breathing Toa. The Maturans were distrustful towards the Toa, but they would eventually earn their trust while also earning the name Toa Mahri. Unfortunately, I don't have any canisters or instructions, so we'll go ahead and just jump right into the review, looking at each individual Toa, starting with 8910 Toa Kongu with 64 pieces and retail for just $10. Now, I think Kongu has a pretty good design. However, his build is a little rudimentary, kind of simple, has very broad shoulders and a stocky build for a Toa of Air, but he technically doesn't have a Paraka or a Nika build. It's slightly different. He has a different torso piece, but we will see this in later sets, but I think it looks good. He does have pretty standard articulation, nothing too fancy to say. He just have your typical joints and an articulation. His head is a little bit restrictive because of the tubes and the mask. He has this thing sticking out on the back of his head, which on the back of his head, his eye stock piece is like cut in half to actually have an axle point to go fit in, where you can have the extra little piece in the back where the tubes go through. That's a pretty neat look right there. So I think that looks good. Head doesn't articulate very well, can't look up, hard to look side to side, but not too bad. And he has Kordak blasters. Instead of actual weapons, he has Kordak blasters, which that is the Toa's new little launcher of the year, and it requires air to press it, so depends on how well you press it, it can shoot pretty well. Depends how well you do it, and it's okay. I don't hate it. It's a bit clunky and cumbersome, but it's not the absolute worst of launches. We already know what the worst is, but it's decent. But it's weird for Kongu to have two launchers, considering again he's a Toa of Air. You know, Toa of Air would have like a blade or something, but he has two big launchers, and the color scheme is a little lackluster. Not that it's bad, it could have been better. The Metro Green is good, just like his Anika version. Far gone the all-round just Metro Green and a little bit of silver. He now has dark gray pretty much for his primary color scheme. I mean, it's always a treat to see some recolored parts, but still, like, his main color is gray, and green is like almost like his secondary color. Kordak blaster, which is silver, gray, and red, so it's like kind of distracting overall for his color scheme. Not the worst, just wish they gave him a bit more green, considering he's again the Toa of Air. Kongu here wears the Kanoi Zat Mask of Summoning, and I really love this mask design. One of my favorites, actually. I really do like the grooves and the curvature of the mask. Like, it's a lot going on, and I really like it. I know some people don't, but I think it looks good. It's a great looking mask. It's top tier, in my opinion. Top tier. Next we have 8911 Toa Jer, and contains 68 pieces. He has a great design, my favorite Toa Mahri actually. His build is pretty solid, nothing new or fancy. Now he does have an Anika build, a pretty simple Anika build, because it's very similar to his original design. Nothing has changed honestly with him, except from a few slightly changed colors through his arms and his mask, of course, and his chest armor is way different. His weapon is different because he has just now a big silver blade instead of a gold one. Other than that, it's really about the same. I do, however, like his color scheme with his Mahri design because it has this very magma look, because it's like black and this warm orange and dark Metro red. It kind of flows. It very much feels like a Toa of Fire. The articulation is pretty standard, nothing new there. His head does kind of get hindered by his tubes, since for everyone else except for Kongu, all their tubes are going kind of like through their body and into the mask, so it makes moving the head just a little bit more awkward, and that's for the rest of them. Have this very similar problems, so it's not much I can really do from there. He does have a unique problem when it comes to articulation, because since he has a crab with him, which it's a really nice cute little build to have, and it holds his Kodak blast so you don't have to hold it in his hand like everyone else. However, with that, he has this chain that attaches, and it's really awkward to move, so it's best to just take it off. But with it being on there, it's just dangling around. It's kind of crazy. And speaking of the hermit crab, it has the Kodak blast on it, right? So what that means, it's really top heavy, like really top heavy. You have to lean the Kodak blaster way forward just to hold it up, because if you don't, if you have it slightly back, even by a little bit, the thing is going to fall completely over. It's really annoying. I prefer the design of him having it on his back, which I have done. It's not too hard. You just got to move some pins and just kind of just attach it to the back. It's actually really simple. It's a quick search on Google, so if you want to do that, you can, because it's obviously not that hard. But I prefer this look because it definitely has a more solid design, because it makes him look a bit more beefier and just, I don't know, looks stronger. And the Kodak blast is on his back, which I think that makes him look even cooler to me. You know, he can't really use the Kodak blaster, but it's just a nice look. And now we have 8912 Toa Hooki with 62 pieces, and oh boy, Hooki, what have they done to you? Long since we had a Toa of brown and tan, now we're just replaced with keyed orange, black, and occasionally regular orange. And I am not a fan. This is by far the worst Mari out of all of them. This is the worst one. I do not like Hooki design. I think it's really bad. I do not like his extremely long arms, which they're different, which I don't like, because he has one Bionicle leg and one Paraka arm, which that just don't even look good. And then on his right arm, he has these two blades just sticking out, and it makes it really bad for articulation. It's truly just an enigma of its own. But regardless of that, he has these chains sticking out like his Bionicle design, which is like one of the few good things I could say about him. Speaking of which, I think his Bionicle design was far superior than his Mari design, because at least it was consistent. It wasn't these strange asymmetrical look, and his color scheme was consistent, which I do like. And the chains were pretty decent. I did like the chains, so I even like on the Mari design. I think the chains are good. But aside from that, I don't really like him. He's way shorter than he was before. I mean, I know typically for the Toa of Stone, they're kind of like a bit short and stocky, but he's not. He's really short, but he's really thin. He's really lean almost, because he has a Paraka build, and he has no chest armor, so he has no real protection. He has no arm armor. The only leg armor he got is these little spike things from the Knight's Kingdom wave, which that's admittedly pretty darn cool, but it's going to take more than just a simple little armor piece on his legs to fix the design of Hooki Mari. Hooki wears the Kanoe Garai, the Mask of Gravity. It's a very strange mask. One, it's a half mask, and it's just a weird looking mold. And since the colors are not molded well together, it has this middle area where it looks almost greenish. To put it simply, I'm just not a fan of the mask. I think it's just not a well designed mask in my opinion. Next up is 8913 Toa Naru with 59 pieces, and he has a pretty standard look. His build is through and through a Bionicle build. Like, honestly, his design from his Bionicle look is not too different. Like, he is practically the same. Now, yes, he has new armor on his legs and arms, and he has different legs. Like, he has Paraka arms for his legs, which makes his articulation particularly annoying, because you can't swivel his legs like a whole 360. It only can go up and down, which I guess that's all you need to do. But if you want to actually articulate his leg and have it posing, you have to move the entire leg, which I'm just like, why to do that? However, he does have this really cool shield piece. I do like the shield. We will see this in other sets, so I think one other set possibly, but it's a really nice design. He doesn't have a typical weapon. He has a shield, and The slight problem with the shield is it has a giant split in the middle, so he can't really protect himself too well because it can just, okay, I just cut you or shoot you directly in the middle of that. But I guess he's going to be moving a lot. You're not going to really get to him too much, I suppose. But he does have some nice chest armor because it's the Anika build. It's exactly the same as his Anika build because it's the exact same type of armor and obviously the exact same color. And the color scheme is really good. It's just black and dark gray, so nothing too fancy with that, because what do you really expect from the Toa of Earth? The color scheme is slightly broken up with the Kodak Blaster, actually, with the red and dark gray and silver, slightly, but depends how you want to look at it. It's not too bad, but it is there. And he has this green, 2 green little pieces on his back as well for, I guess, his air tank. But, I mean, it kind of throws it off a little bit, but, I mean, you're not going to really look at the back too much. So, I don't think it's too much of a hindrance. It's just, it is there. And Maturo wears the Kanoi Volatak, which is the mask of stealth. And I do like it. It almost has like a skull kind of look, but it has a scuba diver kind of look. So for the rest of the Toa, for Naru, Holly, and Maturo have this more scuba diver kind of look because they have the little like windscreen piece in the mask, so the axle for the mask is a little bit longer. And for Naru, I do like it. It's a bit weird looking. He doesn't look quite like a good guy. He looks kind of almost evil because he has this black and then he has this silver mask, almost like a skull, like I just said. And it's a great design, don't get me wrong, I like it, but it just doesn't fit quite well with a Toa. Next we have 8914 Toa Holly, and contains 59 pieces, same as Naru actually. And oh boy, here we are at Holly, which she has a good design, all things considered. Just a little flat, not to be funny, but she has lime green pieces, and if you know anything about lime green, which I'm assuming everyone does, these pieces tend to break, especially since 07 and onward, lime greens were particularly bad. So, excluding the problem with that, I think the color scheme it's okay. I don't think lime green was the best choice, considering this is supposed to be the water Toa. I mean, literally, the underwater theme is water is kind of her thing. You think they'll have it more like a sand blue or a, I don't know, like a teal color or just a regular blue, but they want lime green. I don't understand, but regardless, her joints are bad. They're very bad. Articulation, I'm a little I'm afraid to even show articulation because I don't want to break any pieces. Funny enough, when I was piecing this set up together, I was trying to stick the handpiece for her wing, and it literally snapped. It literally snapped in half. It was crazy. I literally heard it and saw it. It was bad. I was like, wow, that is the first time I've ever actually experienced that, where the piece just snapped, and it was perfectly fine at first, and then once I put it in, just snap. Crazy. Regardless of that, she has some really nice wings. I think that she is the only character that has that. The same with her weapon. It's like this 3-fingered claw thing, blade, whatever it is. I think this is also exclusive to her. So I think she does have some nice exclusive parts, and she has a good design. Just lime green is really bad. Now, comparing her to her Anika build, she does have a Paraka build, which is stark opposite to her Anika build, because she had an Anika build at first, but now she has a Paraka build. And aside from that, she is kind of the same, like the same armor, the same leg armor, the same legs, the same kind of feet. The only difference is her arm, like instead of being a Vaki limb, it's a Toa Mahri limb. So that's the only difference I can really see, other than obviously that they changed out the white for her joints with lime green, which I am still baffled to this day of why they did that. But aside from that and the wings on her back, she has a pretty consistent design to her Anika form. She does wear the Kanohi Faxon, which is the mask of Kindred, and this mask we'll see only one other time after this. And it's a cool design. I like the little windscreen in the back. Again, she's one of the 3 Toa to actually have that piece, so it's cool that she has it, and it looks good. It works well, and the tubes look really good, and of course it does hinder her head articulation, so not too much neck articulation you can really do aside from just looking down and left and right. But still, all things considered, it's not bad, and it has this little Baraki on the top of the mask, which I think that's so cool. It's so random, but it's just a cool little piece to have on top of her head, and yeah, just a good mask. Last and certainly not least, the man, the myth, the legend, the savior, 8915 Toa Maturo, and he has 63 pieces. Now, before this review, I did not like Maturo in this form. I actually quite hated it, actually, like a lot. But now, after actually experiencing the set in hand and in person, it really has grown on to me. I was not expecting it, but I actually really like the design. It's a solid design. The color scheme is really good. Like the sand blue, the white, the silver, even the little black tube in the back. I mean, it's just random, but it's a great design. I really do like it. And then they bring back the Toa Mata feet, and for his chest armor and for his actual feet. I like that. It's a really solid look. I was literally really surprised by how good the design actually was after seeing it up close, and I really do like it. It's really good. Now, of course, he does have your standard articulation, and I forgot to mention that, yes, his build is a slight deviation from an Anika build, but it's still an Anika build underneath. You can kind of see that, so it depends how you feel about it. It's a con, but to me, personally, I don't think it is. Now, what is not only a con, but a nitpick is his shoulder pieces does flicker, kind of like Wakama, so the shoulder piece does flicker, and his right arm has a Toa Metru arm, and it's kind of awkward. You can't bend it upright, you have to bend it sideways, so it's just a little awkward with that. But other than that, it's still a really good design, and you know, there's nothing too much to complain about Maturo. Like, I thought there was going to be a lot more to say, but no, he has a really good design, good articulation, nothing to complain about. With a side-by-side comparison to his Anika form, I mean, I like both. They look great, and it's very, very consistent. I mean, yes, he does not have the translucent arms and hands no more, but I mean, that's a slight thing, but he does continue the leg look. The armor is now on his legs, and his leg armor is now on his arms. He swapped, which is kind of funny. So, but it looks good still. Like, you know, he still has his silver, still has his blue, his whites, of course, and it looks good. Maturo wears the Kanohi Trina, which is the mask of reanimation. He technically wore the Anika at one point, obviously at the end, but obviously this is his actual mask for the wave, and it's a solid design. It's a nice, sleek, smooth look, you know. Again, has the scuba diver look with the windscreen piece, and yeah, he has a great mask design. I like all the mask designs except for Hooki's, but most of their mask designs are really good, is what I'm trying to say. So in conclusion, my thoughts on the Toa Mahri. I think this is a great line of sets to get, aside from Hooki, but the rest of them, yeah, I definitely say go and pick them up if you can. I mean, I would say yes, get Holly probably brand new sealed, because those joints are no joke. They're no joke. Even one-time use, they probably will snap on you. So at least if you get them brand new, you have a better chance of possibly not breaking them. But still, I mean, that's still a risk. That's a gamble right there. But regardless of that, these are great sets. My score I give it, or them, I should say, is a 9-1. I think these are really good. Better than the Baraki. I like them more than the Baraki, honestly. I really do like the Toa Mahri. I, at first, didn't, which is crazy. I did not like the Toa Mahri at first. I was like, I really don't care for them. They're all different. They don't look like my standard clone sets. I really used to like the clone sets, but obviously now looking at them, I really do appreciate their very unique designs and very unique looks. I mean, it looks good. So, those have been my thoughts. Tell me yours down in the comments because I read every single comment. And before you go, while you're in the comments, please ask me some questions. I was trying to do a Q&A. I want to do a Q&A soon. So if you have any questions for me, leave it down in the comments. Now, join me next time when I look at the first official Titan, because Nocturne kind of count, but not really. But the first official Titan, Gadunka. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will bid you all adieu.
You're sent on a mission